If you've got more than 3 priorities, then you don't have any, because you're probably not going to get any of them done. When you stack now the most important priorities for the next day, you're effectively pre-planning what your top 3 wins are going to be for that day, whether you achieve them or not. In the previous video, we went over a specific 5-minute habit. Basically, it involves taking 5 minutes at the end of your day to jot down 3 specific wins that you got for that day. These could be as simple as you made your bed that day, you hit your 10K steps for the day, you got your exercise session, and small achievements. They could be big achievements, but I'm not going to be getting into this. So I highly suggest, if you haven't seen that video, make sure to check it out at the end of this one, because it's absolutely integral to making the habit I'm about to show you even more effective. The technique is specifically writing out your top 3 goals or priorities for the very next day, essentially creating a more intelligent version of a to-do list. And it goes without saying that it's very important that you do this before going to bed, anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 hours before going to bed.
Wait, but I make my to-do list in the morning.
And a lot of people do that. I used to as well. But there's a few key aspects here as to why not only is this more intelligent, but why you'll want to do it in the evening before. And at the top of the list is decision fatigue. You might already know that willpower isn't something that you necessarily want to rely on, as it's never a 100% certainty that it's going to work out for you. This is why personally in my life, I like to remove as many decision-making opportunities as possible so that everything is very streamlined and efficient. For this reason, when you make these decisions the night before, you're actually going to bed with a much clearer mind. And this carries into the next day, where you're waking up already knowing what you're going to do, you know what the top priority is, and you don't have to be all scatterbrained about it to try to make those decisions first thing in the morning. We do have a level of finite decision-making abilities, and they reduce in quality as the day goes on. So you really want to harness that power for things that are more important. And because at this point of the evening, you've already finished writing out your top wins for the day, when you stack now the most important priorities for the next day, you're effectively pre-planning what your top 3 wins are going to be for that day, whether you achieve them or not. Now, as simple as it might seem to write out a top list of your priorities for the next day, there are a couple of nuances to this. And the first one is going to come in the form of differentiating what's important versus what's urgent. We're talking about setting your priorities for the day based on things that are important to you. Urgent are the things that you're going to do anyways. Going to work, taking care of your children, appointments, they end up being more so of errands and things that are part of day-to-day life. Whereas the important aspects are the things that are truly important to you. These are that passion project that you've been putting off, that book that you want to write, the exercise that's important to you, anything that's in line with the specific goals that are meaningful and important to you. This is what you want to make your top 3 goals lists from. The second aspect here is do not put down more than 3. If you've got more than 3 priorities, then you don't have any, because you're probably not going to get any of them done. So keep it down to 3 max. Now, if you want to make this a bit more traditional and still have some to-do list items such as errands or other trivial things that you might have to do, then definitely put them down there, but get them off and down to the side, because these are of less importance than your big 3 for the day. You really want to prioritize to the very top the most important goal to you. This is likely the one that you've been procrastinating with the most, the one that's the most difficult, the one that you've been putting off repeatedly. This is the one that you want to do first, and it should be at the very top of your list. Now, you may not agree with me on this, but it's actually pretty funny how the thing we procrastinate with the most on tends to be the thing that would make the biggest difference in our life if we do it. It would create a pretty big win in our lives. So as difficult as it may seem, this is the priority that you want to tackle first, which is actually another saying for this called eating the morning frog, doing the worst first. But this concept and very powerful habit was actually popularized by the motivational speaker Brian Tracy. He ended up actually writing a very popular book about it called Eat That Frog. If you've heard of the book, then definitely let me know. But either way, we're going to be talking about this in the next video, specifically some strategies that you can utilize that will catapult your life forward in terms of the various improvements that you can make. It's something that I've used to build a ton of momentum in my life, and real motivation.